Okay, good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to this next episode of FPL Family with me, Lee, and this is Sam. And Sam, it felt like this game week had it all. We had red cards, we had goals galore, we had goalkeepers getting assists. Go on, the flecken. But before any of that, we have to say, we bloody hope that Mikel Antonio is all right. Right, you see what's happened to this guy. The front of his car is just completely gone. If you guys haven't seen this on Twitter or on social media, West Ham's Mikel Antonio in a really horrendously bad car accident, and he's got fractured bones and all sorts. He's in hospital. He's conscious and stable. We think he's all right according to the club, apparently. But he's had some surgery and oh dear, really, really awful. Really, so fingers crossed he's all right, Mikel Antonio. Yeah, because that was a bad one.
Yeah, you can only assume that was weather related. Because the weather in the UK this weekend has been horrible.
Oh, what a weekend we've had. What a weekend we've had. And horrible enough to cancel the Merseyside Derby. It's funny, actually, because a lot of the social media and sort of media outlets were going, oh, the last derby's cancelled. Everton, the last derby at Goodison ever has been cancelled. And it's like, they'll still play it. It's just
been postponed.
It will happen at some stage. We think, don't we? Although it is really just a think at this moment. Gameweek 25, maybe a double for Liverpool and Everton, maybe.
24-25,
according to the experts that know this sort of stuff.
Probably. I don't think they'll want to leave it as late as sort of 32-33 because it only takes for you to then make a final somewhere else and throws that out. So
yeah. Either way, if you have held on to your triple captainship up to now, that feels like a reasonable time to play it, no? If Mo is fit and firing as he is at the moment in game week 25, 26, or whenever it is that double game week ends up happening.
If fit and firing, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of football to be played between now and then.
A lot of football, yes. A lot of football still to go. Let's say hello to a few people. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. We will do, as usual, our teams. We'll do scores. We'll do how we got on. We'll do how we think about next game week and what's coming up, because again, like you say, Sam, we've got European fixtures in midweek. We know this, so as usual, the sort of standard narrative is just hold that knee from jerking, just make sure that European football plays out, and then use your transfers as late in the week as possible. I'm going into game week 16 with 3 free transfers. 3.
First time ever?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, I don't think I've got up to 3. There's a bit of me that would like to push it to 4 just to be like, oh, I've got 4 free transfers. But I'm looking at my defence. It needs work. It's serious work. And I've got a way to get some money out of my midfield to fund that back line. Because if I look at it, God forbid Aït-Nouri gets booked tomorrow night on Monday, because if he does, then he's suspended for game week 16 because he's 1 yellow away from a suspension. And I need Ipswich at home for them next. I need him more than ever. Then I've got Gabriel, who I was expecting to turn up, but
didn't.
Not. And now he's apparently training indoors with Calafiori, and he may or may not be back soon or whatever. We're unsure as to what's going on with him, really, until we hear from Arteta. And even when we hear from Arteta, we won't know, will we? Let's face it. Then I've got bloody Rico Lewis. What a roller coaster of day that was on Saturday.
Oh.
What a joke. We actually didn't watch much football on Saturday, spoiler alert, because we went to the O2, to the Jingle Bell Ball, didn't we, with the kids? So we took them for a night out. It was wicked, Coldplay night, so good. But we missed a lot of the football. And we were walking along and you were just saying, oh, you went, did you play Rico Lewis? And I was like, he's got sent off, hasn't he? And you went, no, he scored. I was like, oh, yes. I was sort of like, yes, but I want City to lose, obviously. But that made it 2-2. So I was like, yay for FPL. Not so great for football, but we'll take it. No, I needed the points, frankly. And then within the next 5 or 10 minutes, he's got himself sent off. So my prediction of him being sent off actually came true in the end.
Yeah, I kind of feel like you did tempt fate by saying...
Yeah, I should have just shut up, shouldn't I? Shut up. But anyway, Rico's suspended now for game week 16, which is...
And can't appeal because it's 2 yellows.
So annoying from a Rico Lewis perspective. But some stuff did go my way. It wasn't all bad news, but the defence is looking particularly bad. I got Greaves as well, who didn't show up for Leicester, for Ipswich again. I don't know why Ipswich don't put more defenders on the bench.
He doesn't like it.
I'm sure he hates losing 2-1 as well.
No, but
1-0 up. Stick Greaves on. That's it. Shore it up.
Didn't he say that?
Yeah,
have
he
I
did say
gone
that.
mad?
No, you're absolutely right. McKenna said, I don't like putting too many defenders on the bench. Yeah. Mad. Absolutely mad. So he deserves what he got there, losing 2-1. Absolute muppet. So I've not got him as well. And then who's my fifth? We've got Gabriel, Rico, Aït-Nouri, Greaves. Who's my?
What's
I
going
can't,
on with Aït-Nouri?
can't even
No,
remember.
Aït-Nouri's not even done anything yet. You can't have a go at him yet.
Well, no, I can't
Yeah.
go at him yet. But like I'm saying, it's like if he gets booked this weekend, if he gets booked tomorrow in the Monday night game, West Ham and Wolves, then he's out of next weekend. So I need him to avoid that. Oh, Lewis Hall, of course, I got Lewis Hall. So
What's up with Lewis Hall?
nothing. But and then I put Flecken in goal, which apart from the assist, concedes again. So I'm like, yeah,
What is
my
it you said to me?
whole back line, including goalkeeper, needs a revamp.
As
Serious.
we were walking around the OT and I said, Lee. And you said, what? And I said, Flecken. And he went, has done what?
In my head, I was like, penalty save. I was like, he saved the penalty. Come on.
And I said, he's got an assist. And you went, yes, that's as many assists as it is got clean sheets this season.
He's got as many assists as clean sheet. I thought you were winding me up for a start.
I
I was
wasn't.
just like,
You
no
told
way
me
has he got an
yesterday
assist.
to
No
only
way.
bring you good news. So I've stopped telling you bad news. Like, no, we actually weren't. When Rico Lewis did get sent off, we actually weren't together. I'd gone back to the car to get rid of the shopping bags.
Oh, so
And
bad.
I walked back in and I knew that Rico Lewis had been sent off. And I decided not to say anything because you said, only bring me good news.
Stop giving me bad news. Yeah,
So
give me bad news.
I didn't tell you. And the first thing you went to me is, bloody Rico Lewis has been sent off. I was like, oh yeah.
I've got to get this off my chest, right? He scored the goal. He's a kid. He's full of adrenaline, right? He's absolutely full of adrenaline for getting them back in the game, and he's getting forward at will.
Right.
And then he gets upset. This is his first card. I don't know if you've seen this, right? In the
I've
highlights.
seen it, yeah.
But he gets upset with the ref for a foul on, I think, De Bruyne.
Yeah.
So he's like, he's up in the ref's face. And you can see the ref. He's about half the height of the ref, and he's probably about half the age of the ref. And he's, rah, 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 Rico Lewis. I'm looking at the ref, and that ref's just like, you stupid little boy. You little prick. And he just books him. And
Yeah, but you can't say this, Lee, because it doesn't matter whether he's little or massive. The rule is the rule.
I'm not saying that's not the rule, but I'm just saying, in the ref's head now, he's like, I'm going to book you, you little twerp. And
Rightly, because he's arguing with the ref.
yes, but my point I'm going to make is that it's now in the ref's head. The minute he makes a tackle, the next tackle, the minute he dives in, the
right,
minute
Pep.
he's a little bit late. Did you think that was a second yellow?
I thought it was
Be
soft.
truthful.
I thought it was soft.
I think you're being generous.
I thought it was soft.
I didn't think it was a second yellow. And I'm obviously biased because I'm a Rico Lewis owner. But I think if he's not all up in the ref's face, giving it like a little teenage dirtbag, the ref maybe doesn't then give him the second yellow. But I think it's in the ref's head. He wants him off. The ref couldn't wait to get that second yellow out.
I think you're being.
He couldn't wait, Sam.
I don't.
Oh.
Are you all right? I think you've just had an unnecessary pop at refs for no reason there.
Which is very
You're
unlike me.
basically Pep. I don't think the ref really deserved that. He's been shouted at in a bad way by Rico Lewis, who, by the way, had nothing to do with the incident and shouldn't have got himself involved. That's a booking.
Why did you say you're having another unnecessary go at refs? Surprisingly, as if that never happens. I
You
do it
always
on a
have to go
weekly
at Pep.
basis.
But you actually do sound like Pep, because what is it Pep said? Oh, it's only because it's Rico. It's like, God,
Yeah,
all right.
he's right.
Oh, it's not, though.
The ref.
You
It's-
and Pep.
I'll tell you what,
Next
that
thing I
ref.
know, you'll be pulling your hair out, scratching your face,
I am actually
shouting at Liverpool fans in the street.
I'm actually in the camp of Rico Lewis was fouled
Oh,
for that
God's
second one.
sake.
I think it's a foul on Lewis. Now he's a little bit late, so maybe, but it's a foul on Lewis. And Lewis gets the second yellow because the ref cannot wait to send him off. He cannot wait. He's getting the card out. It's absolutely unreal. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's say hello to a few people.
You are mental.
That's my work. I feel like it's quite cathartic. Every week I come on here and just have a rant about refs. Since the David Coote thing, I've got even less respect for refs, I'll be honest. Even less respect. I just cannot wait to get it off my chest every week. There's at least one bad decision. And to be honest, if that was any other Man City player... And that's part of the reason Man City go on to drop points in the title race. Happy as Larry. Couldn't give a damn. Because I got him in FPL. that's just like, Rico, what are you doing? Right, let's say hello to a few people, Sam. Sorry, I've gone off on one there. George, hello, George. George, stop bloody super chatting. You're already a patron. Stop it, George.
No, I don't even know if I want you to read this, because this is going to be something about Mbeumo, something about the last dance.
Yes.
Something about always listen to George, never listen to Sam.
Well, he says... You're basically right. He says, evening, Bonfield. Tell him, mate. He says, Sam, I hope you're okay after that performance. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I did have Palmer captaincy, I'm afraid, as did many, George. Many did. Lee, what a one last dance with Mbeumo. Listen to George and dance with him a bit more.
Nobody should be dancing with Mbeumo anymore.
I did have George and I did have one last dance with Mr. Bryan Mbeumo. I'm very, very appreciative of your points, Brian. You are now going to be sold. You are now going to be sold to fund an upgrade in my defence, but more on that a bit later on. But you're right, I was pleased hang on to him for one more week. And they are good at home. I don't know what's going on at the G-Tech, but they're bloody good
They
at
like
home.
to entertain their fans.
Oh, goodness me, yeah. They concede for fun, but goodness me, can they score some goals? Unreal. Absolutely unreal. At home, away, guff. Joseph Maloney, thank you, Joseph, for the super chat. Hi, Lee and Sam. I hope all's good with you. Yes, all right, thank you, mate. 35 points with 2 to play. Palmer captain saved my game week. What a weekend. Mate, it has been one of those weekends.
35 with Palmer captain?
Yeah, so that's
God.
looking pretty
What did
slim
the rest
around
of the team do?
pretty slim around the edges, Joseph, outside of Palmer
Joseph.
captain. Goodness me, blimey. But what a weekend, he says. Yes, it really was. It really was. Let's say hello to a few people and then we will get cracking on with some of these games. Lalex, good afternoon, good evening. He says, as a non-Lewis owner, he should have got a straight... Stop it, Alex. You're just winding me up. Barris302, who's a Manchester United fan. Who?
Just winding you up.
Flecken, he gets assists nowadays.
No, he gets sent off next week. That's all your points out, Flecken. You're never getting any more, so you better sell him.
As many assists as clean sheets. He probably is going, to be honest with you. Barris302 is a Manchester United fan. What is going on at that club? What is going on? Barris, don't take it personally. Man United fans, don't take it personally. What's going on? Sporting director's already had enough. 5 months in, he's gone. What's his name?
Yeah, but
Ashworth? What his name is? Ashton? Not Ashton.
No, that's
Ashworth.
Dave. Ashworth, yeah.
Yeah. Gone already?
Yeah, but we've known for a long time that this is not really... Like, when Man United sack their managers, it's not really about the managers, is it? When they get rid of a player, it's not really about the player, is it? It's about what's going on behind the scenes. It's the personnel at the top of the club. God. Now, clearly, the Sporting... Like, clearly don't want to be there, does he? Clearly just got there
He's
and
been
gone,
there
I
5
don't
months,
want to
had a
work with
look.
these people, I'm
Don't
off.
fancy it. Yeah, don't fancy it.
Just give Amorim...
Too big a job.
Really good. No, but I don't think it's too big a job, Lee. I just think he's looked at it and gone, you couldn't pay me enough money to deal with this.
Oh, I'm sure they're paying him a few quid.
Yeah, but I don't think they're paying him...
Well, didn't they poach him from Newcastle?
Yeah, but if you're a normal human being, you walk into a job and it's just full of a load of like nonsense behind the scenes. If your boss is a bit of a prat, if the owner of the company's a bit of an idiot, then after 5 months you're probably thinking, you're not paying me enough to deal with this nonsense and it's not great for my mental health, so I'll go and work somewhere else where I don't have to deal with this. Because he's decent at his job, as clearly proved at Newcastle.
Proven.
So someone else will pick him up.
You'd think
Don't worry about Amorim, though. Like, he'll be fine. He's a really good manager. You just got to give him time.
Yes, I think he is as well. Nick Giardino. Thank you, Nick, for the super chat. First time we've seen your name in the super chat, Nick, I think, maybe. Although it's not flashed up first one, but thank you anyway, mate. Controversial opinion, maybe. I think people that end up being refs tend to be jerks. Yes.
It tends to be what?
Tends to be jerks, Nick. You're absolutely right. Same category as bus drivers and security guards. Overshare, lol. Probably a little bit oversharing there, Nick, I'll be honest. I'm not going to say anything in case...
Why is the bus drivers upset him?
In case we've got any bus drivers and security guards in the chat, and we probably have got some, I'm not saying a word.
I've never had a bad experience with a bus driver or a security guard.
Just with refs.
I've never had a bad experience with a ref. It's just you that seems to dislike refs. You ever had a bad experience with the security guard?
I haven't, no.
Or a bus driver?
When it comes to Max's Sunday League football, often I'm the one that takes the position of referee if we need one. So what does that say about me?
You're a jerk.
I'm a jerk. Thank you, Nick, for the super chat. Either way, mate. Either way. Scott Schrager, the OG. Hello, mate. Mbeumo to Enzo frees up some funds. Funny you should say that, Scott.
I thought you wanted Semenyo.
Funny you should say that. More on that later. Hold that thought, Scott. Hold that thought. Tanky is in. How are we doing, mate? The Smiths 1986. Azzy is in. Referees are the same as those giving parking tickets. Right, can we stop just comparing refs to other just random jobs? We've got to just stop this.
Traffic wardens now.
We can bash. This is a safe space for bashing refs, guys. I've got no problem with that. But comparing them to other jobs, let's not do that. Malachi Fox, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Lee and Sam. Hello, mate. Hope you're both well. Palmer vice captain and Salah captain. He's done that on purpose, haven't you, Malachi? You've done that on purpose. Got me 60 points and Palmer a captaincy must for game week 16 when against Brentford because they're so poor away. How quickly you forget that the best player in the world is playing in a Liverpool shirt at home next weekend with a bit of a break. But Malachy, we'll talk about
For a minute, I
captaincies.
thought we were still talking about Flecken, and I was thinking,
What,
what
best player in the world?
about the best player in the world just because he got an assist.
Love that. Who else we got? FPL Guy is in. I'm 73 in the world. Well played, mate, if you are. Fair play.
Wow.
Webbo is in. Nice to see you, Webbo. Here every single week, Webbo. Nice to see you, mate. Attaboy, Phil B. We've got Shanks.
Sorry, I'll just quietly die in the corner.
Yeah, a little bit of a caveat for particularly the podcast listeners tonight. Sam has got quite a savage cough. It is quite a savage cough.
Evie poisoned me.
Sorry?
I'm convinced Evie poisoned me.
It's come from our daughter somehow, isn't it? So
she accidentally sprayed a load of cleaning spray, and I think I'm
Sam will
allergic
for
to it.
sure try and move the mic away.
I'm moving the mic. I'm leaning away.
Whenever we can.
I'm doing my best.
Whenever we can. Right, that's everybody said hello to, Sam. Let's get into this week's game week results. Here we go. These are the scores, and let's we did touch on the Rico Lewis thing a minute or two ago, but let's do Palace 2, Manchester City 2. Is that does that them out the title race? Are they done? Were they even in it before this weekend? What's your summation
They've been out
of the
it for
Manchester
weeks.
City challenge?
I think they're fully out of it. I think they have been for a couple of weeks now.
Pep seemed a bit resigned in his post-match comments about,
It looks like he's about to resign.
Yeah, we can't be in the. We've lost 4 in a row and drawn. We can't be in a race. It's impossible. Blah blah blah. So yeah, his comments do feel a little bit like he's given up a little bit.
He has said this kind of stuff before, and then they've gone on to do well.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
exactly.
I do think they're too far behind now, and I think they at a time where you've got other clubs that are performing, like Chelsea, who have found, like, they started the season badly, but they found a groove and they found a rhythm and they're playing well
Chelsea
now.
Start the season badly?
Well, I don't think they started the season...
Not results-wise.
No, but I don't think they started the season playing that well. I think it took a while for them to get used to
get to where they're
the
at.
Maresca system and
Yeah,
how
give you
he
that
was
one,
expecting them.
They've only lost 2 games all season, though.
Yeah, but I
Opening
think...
day was City, wasn't it? And then
Yeah.
they lost to Anfield in 2-1, but it was close, that game.
Yeah,
it was close.
but I don't think they started the season in a way that suggested they were going to be playing football like they have been for the last couple of weeks. I think that's probably a nicer way of saying it.
They are cooking at the minute, no doubt.
So when you've got a team like that playing well, and obviously I know that Liverpool haven't played this weekend, but you've now got a Liverpool team that's had a rest this weekend.
And good, I think we needed it, and all we know.
Well, I mean, it's interesting though, isn't it? Because obviously you would have... Just because you didn't play the game at lunchtime doesn't mean you wouldn't have done all of the... So all the prep would have done.
Yeah.
Fully for the game. They'd have got up, they'd have started the match, because the call wasn't made on that until like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They'd have still been up, starting the match day stuff at that point. So they would have still done some sort of activity that day to
Didn't have to
sort it
travel
out.
though, did they? Because it's only in.
Well, it was only
Goodison,
over the
right?
road, yeah. So they haven't had to do any of that. But, you know, they have saved 90 minutes of football in their legs. Obviously, there's Champions League in midweek. It's coming into the busy period where you've still got the League Cup as well. So it is helpful to Liverpool to have that moment. And at a time where you've not made progress in the league because you've not played a fixture, Man City and Arsenal also both not making progress really, because it's just the draw for them. They could have capitalised, and I think they would have both been looking at fixtures against Palace and Fulham thinking we should be capitalising on Liverpool not playing this weekend, put some pressure back on them.
Aren't they? Isn't that 2 really horrible little fixtures though? Fulham away and Palace away. 2 really tough little, horrible little games to play, aren't they?
Yeah,
You've got to be on it to get those games.
You have, but also Palace. They've been pretty poor this season. Like, Palace really haven't been playing very well. Fulham a bit different, but Palace really haven't been playing very well this season. So I don't think there can be any excuses. I think if you're Manchester City, there can be no excuses for what happened at the weekend. They've just got to own the fact that they didn't get the points out of it.
A lot of individual errors for City. And De Bruyne was back, wasn't he? And they had a few players. I mean, Diaz...
Do you think De Bruyne was really...
I'm not sure he's back. I'm not sure if he's got some sort of not chronic injury, but some injury that's going to mean that he never gets back to the KDB of old. I'm not sure he's got 90 minutes in his legs anymore. You know, I don't know.
I think they only played De Bruyne because they had to this weekend.
I think so. Yeah,
I don't think
I'll go with you on that.
Without him, they would have struggled even more. I think he thought probably I have to play you again. That's 2 games in a week. Like, I don't think he's really ready. They've got Champions League next week. Like.
Would you think Pep sort of fears the backlash a little bit if he doesn't play him?
Well, I just think that they've got, like, when KDB's not playing, the lack of creativity that they have in that team is marked, particularly with Foden out with bronchitis as well. You've lost him. So if you then
That's what's up with him, is it?
Yeah, so if you don't play KDB and you've not got Foden, who are you putting in that number 10? Like, I think he kind of had no choice. If Foden's fit and available, then maybe he can give KDB a rest in one of these fixtures, but I don't know.
A couple of things for me defensively for City, though. Diaz back was a positive. It's a net positive for City. Obviously, having a player like that back would be a net positive for any team. Did make a lot of blocks from what I saw on the highlights on Match of the Day. So what does that tell you? A couple of things. One was that Palace did have their chances. They did get plenty of shots away, Palace.
They did, yeah.
And he was in the way and he was there marshalling. So they did look better defensively with him. But the other thing, and I'm afraid he's culpable for both goals. And I know you've defended him in the past, and I haven't. But he is finished, Walker. He's finished. Like on that first goal, like Rico Lewis steps up and Munoz is offside. No, he's not, because Walker hasn't on the other side, and he hasn't spotted the danger and looked along the line and stepped up in a line. Now you could say that's the whole of the City back line not playing as a unit. Okay, we say it to Max's team on a Sunday all the time, don't we? Same thing. But nevertheless, it's still Walker that's keeping Muniz on side. And then the second goal, I can't even explain to you what Walker's doing there. He just, Lacroix, if that's how you say his name, just beast modes him. Just get out of my way, mate. And loses him completely for a free header. He's culpable for both goals, in my opinion, Walker.
But I don't disagree with you. I just think that our son plays under 10 foot. No, what does he play? Under 11 football. And I spent 60 minutes the other week running the line, because you run the line next to your own back line, running the line next to the boys, going, boys, you have to step up in a line. Boys, they'll get in behind. Boys. And eventually, they were listening eventually. Max was listening to me and shouting at the other two. And then they were all getting in a line, and it was better. But they are under 11. They have to be reminded of this. These are professional footballers.
That's what I'm saying.
So Kyle Walker's slower because of his injuries that he's had, because of whatever it is that's gone on.
Just age.
Just the fact that he's a bit older. But equally, the rest of the back line are accountable. Like, he's got Gvardiol, Rico Lewis, Diaz there. All of them, they know he's got less pace now than he has before. So somebody help him, cover for him. Be there so that he can step up.
What's your reason for backing him so much?
It isn't.
Because I totally disagree with you. He is culpable for both of those goals.
He cannot. The point I'm making is that I don't think he's got the pace. So you can't. It's all very well and good saying, well, he's got to be faster. He's got to get out of the way. He's got to press up, but he can't. He can't. We've had 15 game weeks now, and every single week he's played, it's the same thing. It's not that he's being lazy. It's not that he isn't trying. He's physically not capable of it. That's obvious now. So it's all very well and good for us all to keep sitting here and saying Kyle Walker's done, but they haven't got anyone else who can play there. So the rest of the defence have got to be supportive in that position and work together. And they just aren't.
Okay. All right, enough on Kyle Walker. What else on Manchester City? Haaland gets his goal. Could have had 2 or 3, couldn't he, to be honest with you? What did you make of his performance? Did you see any green shoots there that might make you ever go back to him? Or is the power 3 in midfield just too strong to warrant going back to Erling Haaland?
Good question. I think it's hard though, isn't it? Because I don't think any FPL manager in their right mind would ever fully rule out going back to Haaland.
No.
I don't think that is something that you should do. And I think that if you sell Haaland now, 3 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, whenever it is that you made that decision, or in the future when you do make that decision, if you do make that decision, as with everything that we do in FPL, I don't think anyone is making those decisions going, right, that's it, for 38 weeks, you're in and that's it. Or you're out and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, for me, when I sold Haaland, it was never a case of, right, you're gone and I'm never owning you again for the rest of the season. But
plus, when we sold him, we knew he will score goals. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like Palace away, you reasonably expecting him to get a goal.
I don't think anybody who's sold Haaland over the last few weeks has sold him going, well, that's it, he's never going to score a goal again.
Yeah, he's not going to hurt me.
Everybody sold him going, at some point, this is going to kick me. And it's going to really hurt when it does. And as long as Palmer, Saka, Salah, whoever it is that you've got in place of him, also performs, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Now, this week is slightly problematic because obviously, and we said it on Sky on Saturday morning when we were talking about it, this week Haaland was going to hurt more than in most others, because if you didn't have Haaland, you almost certainly have Salah. Salah obviously had the game postponed. So it was going to be a case of, can Palmer and Saka outscore Haaland?
There was a few in the Sky Sports studio, by the way, that did, seeing that Salah wasn't going to play, ditched him and brought Haaland back in for either a 2 free transfers or a -4.
Yeah, but then where are you?
There will be plenty of managers that would be doing that.
100%. But then where are you next week? What
Correct.
are you doing? Are you going to keep yo-yoing
Bit
around?
short-term thinking, isn't it?
And so look, I'm not in the camp of I'll never own Haaland again. I'm also not in the camp that I really regret selling him either.
No,
like,
not yet.
I think against Palace, I would expect him to score a goal. I probably actually, to be honest, would expect him to get more than 1 goal.
Could have, yeah, and he could have.
And he could, yeah, absolutely. But at some point he probably comes back. But I can't see that being anytime soon.
No, not for me either. Not for me. But I did notice in the Fantasy Football Scout members area, which I use every week here, quick ad for Fantasy Football Scout, if you guys can see that. I use the Fantasy Football Scout members area on my iPad to get all of the weekend's nice stats in one nice, handy little dashboard as I'm doing the live stream. So if you're not a member over at Fantasy Football Scout yet, you should definitely consider doing that. There are links in the description below to go and check out their website and their members offers. So go check it out. Really, really awesome website. And I've been using it for over 10 plus years, I noticed when I last looked. But I noticed also that chances created, Matthias Nunes was joint top with Rodgers and Palmer and Delap actually with 4 so far this week. And Diaz, Gundogan and Vardiol were the top 3 for passes, and indeed Gundogan and Matthias Nunes were 2 of the top 3 for touches in the opponent's half. So what does that tell you? That tells you that City dominated this game. They had plenty of the ball, plenty of touches in the opponent's half, lots of passes between, who was it again? Diaz, Gundogan and Vardiol. So plenty, and Vardiol kind of played centre-half, didn't he, in this game? So the 3 of them knocking it about in a nice triangle without really getting it into dangerous areas, I don't think. Without getting into dangerous areas. So yeah, definitely the malaise continues at City. So for me, I've only got 1 City player in my team, and I'm looking to get rid of him.
You haven't really for next week anyway, because he's suspended.
And he's suspended. Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Brentford 4, Newcastle 2. So the last dance, as I quite rightly coined it, with Bryan Mbeumo. I am going to sell him this week. But a 13-pointer was a very, very nice parting gift. And do you know what? Could have had more as well. See that one that got cleared off the line right at the end where he tackled the goalkeeper, and then I think it was Dan Burns sort of slid back and got it off the line. So could have been more for Bryan Mbeumo. If you were an Mbeumo owner, would that have given you pause for thought in this game? Would you want to keep him potentially? Because at home, they are a different beast, Brentford. They do score a lot of goals.
They do.
And kind of law of averages suggests that he's going to get his fair share, right? He'll get some pens as well along the way. It doesn't make him a bad asset, I don't think, all of a sudden.
No, I don't think anyone's ever thought that Mbeumo has suddenly become a bad asset. I just think that what's happened in the last few weeks is that the midfield 5 have become a real priority for managers, and owning the right players at the right times in those positions has felt increasingly important. And I think the trouble with good old Bryan is that at home, as you say, he has been performing well, regularly churning over the points. Great, that's wonderful. But every other week, when he's on the road, not so great. And it's not just that, it's the last couple of weeks, up until this one, because last week, or the last home game that they had, was so far wide, he wasn't really involved in anything that was going on. We had his first blank at home, and that was the week that a lot of people had captained him.
Yes.
The week before that, it was just an assist, and again though in another high-scoring game. And I think for me the thing is that we maybe with him have got a little bit greedy this season, because
too higher expectations, maybe.
Yeah, because I think in the early part of the season, all these home games, Brentford have, like you said at the beginning, incredibly high scoring at home. Love to entertain their home crowd, score a lot of goals, concede a lot of goals as well, but score a lot of goals. And I think our expectations got set that he gets at least 1 attacking return every home match, if not 2 attacking returns every home game. So now that they've come back down to what I would now classify as a bit more of a normal level. You know, we've had an assist one week, we've had a blank one week, and now we've had a bit of a haul this week with his 13 points. We're all looking at that going, well, it's not quite what it was before. And at the same time, we've got other players who are cheaper than him coming into the conversation in that extra midfield slots. And so suddenly you can free up money, because a lot of us have quite cheap defences right now. And people will be looking and going, wow, I'd quite like to own whoever it is. And so, yeah, I think for me, if you can afford to keep him and he's not causing you any issues across the rest of your team, then that's fine. But for me, he feels like a bit of a luxury own.
Right, okay. Well, let's have a look at Brentford's fixtures going forward.
Well, this is why.
And there they are. Chelsea away next, which is obviously a difficult game. Anyone going away to Chelsea right now is a difficult game. Forest at home, which doesn't look too bad in game week 17. But then Brighton away and Arsenal at home. And I think that's the challenge, isn't it? And by the way, I've shortened the fixture table here just to game week 19 until the next wildcard window. Probably the last time I'll do that. I think when we get to this time next week, I'll start opening it up and start looking into the new year as well, because I don't want to just put the next 3 fixtures, because not everyone's going to be wildcarding, are they, straight away in game week 20? I wouldn't have thought. But there we go. The next 4 for Brian look pretty difficult, maybe with the exception of that Forest at home game. And I do think you're right. I think there are other options in not just his price bracket, but a lot lower, that would free up money to do other good stuff in your team. And again, hold that thought, because I'll be doing that, and I'll talk about that a bit later on. What else did you make of the game, though? Brentford, loads of goals, but Newcastle played their, they gave as good as they got for the most part in this game. And Isak on the score sheet again. Harvey Barnes as well with the other goal. Jacob Murphy with 2 goals, with 2 assists, and probably should have had a goal as well, I noticed. But Isak, discuss. What are we saying? I've got Ollie Watkins in my team. Would quite like to move him to either Jackson or Isak right now. Which one of those would you choose?
I knew you were going to ask me that. It's quite hard.
Sorry.
Because Isak's got the form. Jackson's got the fixtures. Jackson, I'd argue, is in the team in best form.
Didn't look great today, did he? We'll talk about that game in a minute.
Jackson.
Not
No,
great, but
Chelsea looking good.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea with good fixtures. He is the number 9 in that team. So in my head, I'm kind of like, well, you still probably are a good pick. But on the flip of that, you've got Isak, who Newcastle, they've not got bad fixtures.
Well, let's have a look at their fixtures. They are pretty good. Leicester at home next, and then Ipswich away, Villa at home, and Manchester United away. So, yeah, bloody good if you ask me.
I don't think I'd go that far, but they're decent fixtures. Maybe a bit mixed with Villa and Man United in there, because who knows where we'll be with those 2 clubs by then. But Newcastle have got, I feel they're just a little bit Jekyll and Hyde, but Isak's not. Isak's consistent within that team.
It's consistent, yeah.
So it's a bit of a difficult one, isn't it? Because Isak's got the consistency himself, but Jackson's team has got the consistency and arguably the better fixtures. So it's going to be a choice. I think for me, right now, today, I think I prefer Isak just. But then if you'd have asked me this question last week, I'd 100% would have said Jackson. I think that's in part because I think at Chelsea there's another attacker that I prefer that's not Palmer.
Yeah, all right. Well, listen, 2nd overall across the game week so far, Isak, for underlying BPS across forwards. Only Vardy has done better than him, actually. So Isak, well on radar. And so are Newcastle with those fixtures. Let's move on to the next game, Sam. Let's discuss your game then. Spurs 3, Chelsea 4. What's going on? What is going on? Started so well for Spurs, but Chelsea just kept at it. And as soon as Cucurella changed his boots and stopped slipping over, different team. Looked a lot better. What do you make of it?
Him changing his boots was honestly one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. The way he shouted at the boot man, I was like, all right, you choose your boots, Cucurella, not the boot man. But
2 pretty big errors though, right? Big errors.
Yeah, look, it's a weird one because we started off quickly. I didn't think that, like you were saying, you thought we started off well. I didn't think we were playing particularly well. I thought we had 2 good opportunities and we took them, which for us is been unusual lately. But Chelsea are good in attack, and they're always going to be. They were always going to keep fighting for that. It's a derby. You know, what was frustrating is that there were a couple of moments just inside the second half, I think. One where Son had a perfectly great opportunity and just didn't finish it. And then put it wide. And then there was another one came off the crossbar. And it's those moments that I think are frustrating, because when you're watching Spurs, there's plenty of creativity. We played, with the exception of Vicario, our first choice team today.
Do you think that was a bit of a mistake to put the two centre-halves in there? Because they both went off with injuries in the end.
Well, I don't think Mickey van der Ven is injured. I think it was cramp.
Okay.
Because he goes and sits on the bench. Romero's a really weird one, because so Mickey was due back for the game on Thursday. So, and apparently was okay to play today, and he made it through 70 odd minutes and all right, goes off. But he seemed to be okay. Didn't go down the tunnel, he went sat on the bench. So I think he'll be all right. Romero, he's had this foot problem that kept him out of international duty, but then seemed to get worse and didn't seem to come back. It was a bit of an odd one. Then all of a sudden, I've not seen him in training this week. Mickey's been in training pictures now and behind the scenes stuff for about 10 days, so I wasn't surprised to see him. I thought he might be on the bench. I think he would have been on the bench had Ben Davies not done a hammy in midweek.
Yeah, I think Ange in some of his post-match interviews said that it's something new for Romero, didn't he? He said the toe was kind of holding up quite well, but he had a problem with his calf in this game, so it's a new issue.
So, but I don't know whether it's one of those, because it happens quite early on in the game. He gets up, he tries to carry on, he can't carry on. The one thing I would say, though, moving forward, is that actually Dragerson, I thought, did quite well covering for him, given he was on the wrong side of his centre-back pairing, because it's not where he plays. He's Mickey's understudy. Davis is Romero's. So we'll see. It's a frustration. I don't think anyone did anything wrong starting them. I think that's what I'm saying. I think they were both fit. So if you're fit, you're going to start your best players, right? Am I disappointed by the result? I mean, obviously, I want to win.
Of course.
But equally, I'm like, it's just a bit of a frustrating one. Am I in that Ange needs to be sacked crowd? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think we will get it right. My personal view, and I've said this for years, is that, well, I've said this for the last 2 seasons now, is that I just don't think that the captaincy suits Son. I think he isn't a natural leader. And I think it harms his game when he's worrying about everyone else. I think he needs to worry about his own game. When he's not wearing the captain's armband, I kind of feel like he plays with more freedom. And at the moment, I think that's what he needs. Yeah,
joint top for shots, though, Son this week, with 4, alongside Smodic and Palmer. So, 2 of those shots for Palmer were the 2 pens, right? So it's only Son and Smodic that were out there, really, as the sort of the shot-taking players in this game week.
But when you look at the way that he was taking those shots and the outcomes of them.
There were passes on, I thought, in a few of those shots.
I think so.
I was like, play it to Brennan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit of that going on, potentially. Yeah. What about Chelsea, then? Because Nick Giordano's in with a super chat saying, are Chelsea genuine title contenders? Yes or no?
Yeah. I think they have to be now.
100%.
Second in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think they would be. I thought they might. At the beginning of the season, I thought they might struggle with top 4 this year. I thought they made Europe. I thought they might struggle with top 4. Just simply because they don't have a particularly great track record of bedding in a new manager. So I was kind of a bit like, well, let's see.
He's a top manager, though, I think.
I've
said it a few weeks now.
I think he is a good manager. Yeah, I do. I do think he is.
Got a good connection with the team as well, right? You notice at the end there, he's all high-fiving, he's all smiles, and he's like... You can tell, can't you, when managers are high-fiving players, if that high-five is kind of... What's the word? Kind of reciprocated. If the player high-fives him back. I know that's a really weird thing to say.
Okay.
But there's a lot of managers that go onto the pitch and they're just sort of doing the whole kind of handshake with the players. And there's not a lot of like, you can't feel it. Whereas there's a lot of players going up to Maresca and, they're all giving it high-fives together. They feel like, and that's the word, I think, they feel quite a together team. And I think Sancho's goal was fantastic. I think if you did captain Palmer this week, fair play. That is a haul and a half, 18. But... let's not beat around the bush. 2 penalties that were...
just bad mistakes.
I'm not going to talk about Spurs too much, but so naive, the 2 penalties. Bissouma diving in and then Sarr hacking Palmer down when he really doesn't need to. And then the assist for Palmer is a bit of a block shot, isn't it? It's a shot that's easily blocked, and then Enzo pops up with an absolute worldy volley, right? So I'm not going to say Palmer captain is a lucky, but the 18 points is a little bit lucky to have come in the way that it came.
I think
that's all I'm saying.
And
I'm a Palmer owner, right?
I think if you look at Palmer's performance though,
Still good.
The way that the points come, yes. I mean, it's just two bad mistakes at the back from Spurs to give away 2 penalties, just silly. But he's still got to put them away, and he does.
The Panenka's filth, by the way.
Yeah,
Absolute filth.
It is what it is. I think if you've captained him, I couldn't bring myself to captain him against my own team, so I didn't. But yeah, look, I think his ownership will shoot now on the basis of what happened today, because I think a lot of people that don't have Palmer will look at the fixtures that they have coming up now that the Spurs game is done, and go,
let's have a look at
okay, he's just got 18 points out of a game against Spurs. I think probably now is the moment that we need to invest.
Brentford at home, Everton away, Fulham at home, Ipswich away until the new year. Doesn't get any better than that. And I have them top of the ticker. The Fantasy Football Scout ticker has them top as well.
And I think, when you look at Chelsea, it's funny, isn't it? Because obviously Palmer I think he just feels like an essential pick at the moment, the way that he's playing.
Got to.
The fact that he's on penalties as well is just another weapon in his arsenal. I then think there is a broader conversation about how you invest in Chelsea though, because most people will automatically look at Jackson because he's their number 9, and he's not exactly expensive. He's not cheap, but he's not exactly expensive. So you can kind of afford to get him fairly comfortably. But then you've got other players, because when I look at a fixture run like that, my gut feeling is always, right, how do I triple up? Like, how do I maximise that potential that you've got over that period? But with Chelsea, I find that tripling up quite difficult, because normally in a treble up, one of them would be a defender.
Yeah.
But we're not. Like, Gusto is in and out the team. Didn't start today, but I thought made a massive difference when he came on though.
Okay.
And so
the keeper? Bobby Sanchez? Prone to an error, Bobby Sanchez.
Prone to an error. He did come out, because I was going to say he didn't start last week, and he didn't start in midweek, but then the Maresca came out and said, no, he is my number 1, that's the end of it. So he is going to start. I think the issue for a lot of managers like myself is I've got David Raya, and I'm happy with David Raya. All right, he doesn't get the clean sheet this week, but I wouldn't be selling David Raya to bring in Robert Sanchez. That feels a bit weird. So I think the defence looks difficult. I think Enzo looks like a bit of a no-brainer, given his price point.
I kind of feel like I wish I'd done that. I mean, do I wish I'd done that? You were
talking about doing that before, though, weren't you?
I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks, and there's a couple of people in the chat saying I've had Enzo for 4 weeks. Fair play, right? You spotted it. You spotted something that no one else was spotting, because for the first 10 game weeks, nothing. No goals, no assists, and 1s and 2s all over the place from an FPL perspective.
Yeah.
Then something changed, and I tweeted this about 5 days ago, that I looked at some of the stats over the previous 4 games, so not including today's game, or the one where he got the assist during the week. What was it? Southampton? Southampton? And in the previous 4 games to that, there was a goal in there, there's a couple of assists in there, so he was starting to tick over. I started looking at some of his heat maps and where he's been playing.
He's returned in the last 6 now, right?
I think Lavia's making a big difference. Lavia's making a big difference, because he's like the insurance policy that's making Enzo Fernandez find those spaces between midfield and defence. And Maresca's, he's put it in there for a reason. He's really good at it. And previous regimes, previous Chelsea managers, they've put him as a kind of not a holding 6, but in a kind of a double pivot or in an 8 in a sort of traditional CM centre midfield. Maresca's going, no. You sit there in between the midfield and the defence, and you cause havoc. And you have Palmer spinning around you, and you have Jackson that you can put through balls for. I think he's fantastic, Enzo Fernandez. And we've got to remember, we've got to take out all of our bias from, the first 6 months, the first few months of this season and last season with Enzo Fernandez. He came in with a massive price tag, didn't he? He's got a World Cup winner. He got up to some naughty stuff in the summer and all the rest of it with the Copa America. But put all of that to one side, he's 4 point something in FPL, 4.8 or something ridiculous. He's playing as an offensive almost 10, alongside almost Palmer sometimes, because Lavia and Caicedo are doing all the dirty work. By the way, that's a red for Caicedo today, and I'm having none of it. Disgusting behaviour. And I just think he's I think he's a bargain, Fernandes. And you look at the next 4 fixtures, why would you not go there? And I, spoiler alert, I'm absolutely looking at that. Absolutely looking at that to free up funds for my defence, for upgrading defence.
See, it's interesting, isn't it? Because for me, in my setup right now, I've got Palmer. Clearly he's not going anywhere. Saka. No one's taking Saka's spot in my team.
Nope.
Even with the blank today. Just not having it. Salah, who's clearly inevitable and just basically picking 14 at the moment. Rodgers and Bruno Fernandes, they're the other two.
Rodgers a bit unlucky yesterday. We'll come to that, but he played all right.
Good opportunity, created well. Good
like
opportunities.
The bleach blonde hair. Yeah.
I'm not sure I like the bleach blonde hair, but I'll go with it, Morgan, if it makes you happy.
Makes you happy, Morgan.
Do what you like. Personally, think it looks a bit rubbish, but
okay,
it's just
all right.
That's up to you. You can do what you like. It feels a bit like when they do you remember when we were kids and you used to be able to buy that stuff? Well, I think it was called sunning. You used to put it in your hair and go sit on the beach or sit by a pool. Do you remember?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, when I was a kid, they used to make this stuff. Well, you would have been a kid as well. And I remember when I was going on holiday, because my hair I was very blonde as a child.
We're 50 minutes in, Sam. Is this a bit of a tangent?
It's about Morgan Rodgers. And anyway, and I begged my mum to do it, and she was like, all right, we'll buy it. And I remember my dad just being like, what the hell are you doing? What is in your hair? I was like, it's going to go really blonde. It's going to be great. I feel like Morgan Rodgers has done that. I feel like he's just gone mad. But anyway, it's beside the point.
Excellent.
Morgan Rodgers, I feel like, was a bit unlucky this week.
4 chances created. Joint top for the game week so far.
And I still think Morgan Rodgers is good value for money.
He's fine.
So I don't really have any...
Fixtures for Villa look a little bit difficult, but...
but I kind of got a bit of a love affair going with Morgan Rodgers. I'm not quite sure why I like him so much. But anyway, he's there. And then Bruno Fernandes... I mean, he gets me the points this week in a week where... everyone else isn't bothered.
B's in the chat. Hey, B.
B will back me up on this.
B's just like, sunning was the best.
Yes! You see? You used to put it in your hair, go out in the sun, and your hair used to go blonde. And, those were the days. I think you can still buy it, B. I probably think it's very good for your hair.
B will know.
Anyway, you can buy
it. B's like, I was in boots this week, getting a bit,
Yeah. Well, she... maybe I'll ask my hairdresser.
Move in from sunning. Move on.
I don't really know where to go now, though. Bruno Fernandes and Morgan Rodgers. They're my 2 options for selling for getting Enzo Fernandez. Now, Bruno, I just find it's really hard to sell either.
You and your
elite
midfield, unreal.
It's hard, isn't it, when you've got,
When I've got such a good midfield, it's so hard to sell. I agree.
I would find it easier to buy Jackson than I would to buy Enzo.
Yeah. Well, look, the Chelsea fixtures are there. I thought they were very good again today. I've been impressed with them for weeks now, and I feel like... having just Palmer is not enough for me. I want more of this team, particularly with those fixtures, and I think Enzo Fernandez is going to be where I go. What else to discuss, Sam? Fulham 1, Arsenal 1. Were Arsenal a little bit unlucky at the end there with that Saka goal that was ruled out for offside? Or
don't you think Martinelli... Right, I know we just talked before about Kyle Walker and his defending. Equally...
I know what you're going to say, and I agree.
If I am Arteta... I'm raging at Martinelli. You are looking down the whole line. You've got the view of every single player, and you're still a yard offside. What are you doing?
It's a bad one.
And you can put that ball in from a yard further back. You just got to time your run better there, Martinelli. And I think if you're an Arsenal fan, I'm annoyed about it because it was a Saka. Saka was my captain. That would have been some nice captaincy points. That would have made a big difference to me this week. And I can't help but feel incredibly frustrated by Martinelli because that's just schoolboy errors. It's just schoolboy silly behaviour. And Arsenal defence conceding.
Decent goal from Raul.
It was. But when you're doubled up on a defence...
Yeah, especially when Gabriel didn't play again.
I know. So
you were a net 20 points better off last game week against everyone that just had Gabriel, and it could have happened again. Yeah, it could have happened again.
I must admit, I know it sounds really silly to say this, but because the Arsenal defence is so good usually, I kind of, when I look at my team and I see a fixture like Fulham, regardless of how good Fulham have been in attack, I look at that and go, oh, they'll clean sheet there. That's sick. That's 12 points. Like, when I'm thinking about, because I don't know if everyone does this or if it's just a me thing, but when I'm like looking at my team ahead of the deadline, I mentally work out how many points I think I might get out of the game week.
Dangerous.
And it gives me, but I do it every week. I've done it forever. But in my head, I'm like, right, I reckon I'll get round, 60, 70. Sometimes I'm like, I think I might really get 40. I better make some extra transfers.
Yeah.
But with with the Arsenal double defence, I'm always kind of like, right, well, that feels like it should be 12. Maybe there's an attacking return in there. Maybe there's a save point in there. So when it goes, it's just infuriating. Regardless of how good a goal it is for the opposition, it still feels annoying.
But with the Arsenal fixtures coming up, I have them second in the ticker, so do the scout team. Everton, Palace, Ipswich and Brentford coming up next. Now, going away at the G-Tech in 19, difficult fixture given how well Brentford have played at home. But the next three in particular, I've got Gabriel. I do want him back, please, because
I'm quite enjoying him not being there, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really, and hopefully, fingers crossed, please, Mikel, can we have a little bit of news about him in midweek
might get some because of the
ahead of
Champions
the
League.
European games? Yeah, so hopefully we do, because I don't want to move him out. I want to keep him for this run, and if anything, I'd like to add to him. Now, how I add to him is the question, because I'm talking about.
It's not really a question, though, is it?
Um,
Thanks for the assist, Mark. Off your pop.
What are you talking about?
If you want to add to Gabriel, you would surely just
do Raya.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, no, you can't keep going with Flecken, surely.
Well, I can when Timber's getting 14 last week and Saliba's getting 8s and 9s and whatevers and scoring off his backside in midweek.
Saliba getting another goal is so annoying.
But this is the thing. Timber, I think, looks like a great. Why would you go Raya over Timber right now?
Well, no, I went both.
Okay, so my point is, in my position, if I had 5.5 to spend, where would I'd rather spend that on Timber than I would on Raya right now. It's only that my problem position is my goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Because by the time I've got Trent, which is possible for this week, and then Gabriel's back, okay, I've still got 8 Nori and Greaves and Lewis Hall. So there's still absolutely space for me to keep Flecken and have Timber instead as my 5.5. Because goalkeepers don't get anything anyway. He wasn't involved today, Raya. He could have got 6, yeah, sure. But he's not getting what was it? He got 2 saves in that game the other day.
I was robbed because I'm sure he got 3.
Well, I'm sure you're right, but he only got 2, so he's only getting the 2s and the 6s, right?
Mm.
And before we were seeing him pick up bonus points in whenever Arsenal kept clean sheets, etc. But now Arsenal are scoring absolutely tons of goals usually.
Yeah, but he's not exactly multiple million. He's 5.5.
Yes. But if it's a straight choice between Raya and Timber,
no, I get it. But equally in your team, I think your bigger problem, if you're going to get Trent, then you haven't really got a problematic defence unless Gabriel is out.
Yeah, maybe. But I'd quite happily between now and the wildcard window have Trent, Gabriel, and Timber as my back three, and just have Flecken in goal. And if he gets another assist, great.
Or if he concedes 5 to Chelsea.
I just think 5.5 is better spent on Timber than on Raya.
I don't disagree. I just think with the way that your team is, I'd be more inclined to fix the goalkeeper.
Raya and Lewis Hall or Timber and Flecken?
Raya and Lewis Hall.
Not sure about that. Anyway, so Fulham, for their part, Raul with another goal. Anything else to say about those guys? Bassi, I think, picked up his yellow card 5th of the season, so he's going to be out of the Liverpool game, which is kind of interesting next week.
Yeah.
What are we saying? Anything to say about Fulham? Anything taking your interest?
Not really.
Oh, okay, good.
I don't. Well, this is not really a Fulham issue. This is just a
Well, their fixtures like Fulham. Are they even worthy of conversation?
I don't think so. Not
Liverpool
really.
up next, so probably not. Then Southampton at home in 17. Chelsea away. Bournemouth at home. Mixed.
I mean,
Mixed.
If you want to go for Robinson and put him on the bench for someone, play him in Southampton, then fine. But I don't think you're going to be reusing up a midfielder spot on Smith Rowe right now. And I don't think.
I'm surprised you wouldn't Smith Rowe over Iwobi then.
All right. I don't think you're going to be using a midfielder slot on Iwobi either.
No.
You can have.
No.
Enzo.
You got them 3, haven't you?
You can have
and
Rodgers.
Then you've got.
You can have Semenyo. You're not going to be getting Iwobi.
I think you're doing Iwobi a little bit dirty there, but I agree with you.
Sorry, Iwobi.
Iwobi, you have binned him off a bit quickly there. He's doing quite well, but I still agree.
Apologies, Iwobi,
Apologies, Iwobi.
if you're listening.
What else to discuss? Let's just quickly do United 2. Sporting director less. Have we done this?
I feel like we've talked about United a lot.
All right, well,
maybe we haven't, because we haven't talked about Forest. Well, and in fact, I sold Chris Wood this week.
Let's talk about how well Nottingham Forest are doing then, because this was a game where I thought they were very, very good indeed, Nottingham Forest. And I don't know what Onana's doing for either Gibbs White's goal, which comes straight at him and he gets out the way, or the Chris Wood goal, where Wood heads it back across the goal, and all three of them look at each other. De Ligt and Martinez and Onana all look at each other and go, "You clear it. No, you no. Oh, it's gone in." It was just so bad. So bad. So yeah, Amorim, baptism of fire for him, isn't it? Got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do.
Yeah, but again, I don't think anyone's surprised that he's got work to do. Like, I think we all expected a bit more of a new manager bounce than we've got. It lasted for about a week, didn't
Bruno
it?
owners are pretty happy though. No,
I'm
that's
quite
a
happy with
great
Bruno,
goal,
yeah.
and he should have had more in this game again.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with Bruno. I won't be selling Bruno. Dalot is up for negotiation. But then...
Manchester Derby next. Missed that one.
Yeah. Dallow's... I'm definitely keeping Bruno for that, because Kyle Walker will play him on side every 5 minutes.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I'd be keeping Bruno for
so
that.
That's fine. Dallow's up for negotiation, though, because no clean sheets since I've owned him. And actually, they started the season doing well for clean sheets. Actually, that's a lie. I've got one clean sheet out of him.
To choose from in defence, so this is the thing. It's like...
What of the defenders?
Well, across FPL, defence is just a bit meh, isn't it? So Dalot to who?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think... Well, Dalot to who, indeed. I brought Dalot in on the basis that he was the most expensive of the United defenders, and therefore it was easy to move to all of the others if De Ligt or Martinez or whoever was actually a better option.
Drop into a Kirkes or Huijsen, couldn't you?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Bournemouth, yeah.
That was where I was, in my head, was like, well, maybe I could drop him down in price. But then what am I doing with this money? Like,
squirrel it away.
I could use it to get Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
That is an option. I don't know. Dalot feels like... To be honest, selling Dalot feels a bit...
I think I'd give him one more week against City, you know?
Yeah, maybe. It
feels a bit of a,
it does feel a little bit of a luxury transfer to sell Dalot.
You must have other issues.
I don't really.
Oh, all right.
I don't think I've got massive issues.
All right, let's move on.
We'll tell in a minute. You can tell me if I am.
Move on from that game. What else to discuss? I think we've pretty much done everything that I want to discuss. A couple of late points grabs from both Bournemouth, who smash and grabbed Ipswich, with Unal and Utara getting the goals right at the end. That is the sort of result that's going to cost Ipswich in the long run, isn't it? That's a bad one.
And I think the trouble with results like that, brilliant for Bournemouth, by the way, and great to see that kind of character and fight from them to come back right at the end and win it. But if you're Ipswich, I think that's really hard, because you're winning the game till late and then you lose it. That's a big loss, that is. And it's the same, to be honest, it's the same with Brighton. Like, for Brighton to be winning the game 2-0 in that game and then to fall apart in the way that they did to Jamie Vardy and his Red Bull party that he has every game. Yeah.
Just before we move to that game, though, Bournemouth, I think, are worthy of a little bit of conversation, because the fixtures for Bournemouth aren't too bad. It's West Ham at home, which is obviously very good. They go to Old Trafford, and then Palace at home, Fulham away. So a lot of FPL managers looking at, I'm thinking about doing Mbeumo to Enzo Fernandez, but there will be a few that are looking at Semenyo. The one thing I will say about Semenyo is, for all of his, he's up there for XG, and he's up there for shots, and he's up there for touches in the box. His stats look great. Hasn't done loads of the old FPL points over the weeks. If you have a look at his game week history,
no,
he's not like blowing me away with points. You know what I mean? His stats look amazing, but
I've got Evan Nilsson now already.
He's not a bad pick, Semenyo. He's still a good pick, I think. And you've got Evan Nilsson, who's also a good pick.
And maybe I went a week early on Evan Nilsson, but I preferred the fixture for Evan Nilsson to the fixture that Chris Wood had. It just so happens that Chris Wood popped up with a goal that, annoyingly took points off Dalot, and Evan Nilsson did not. But yeah, I think, look, I've got Evan Nilsson now. I'm quite happy to have him.
West Ham next week. I mean, Christ, come on.
West Ham up next.
Sorry, Hammers fans.
They don't seem to... Well, we're going to find out tomorrow night, aren't we? We'll see.
El Sakiko?
I loved it. So the rest of the people in here won't have heard you call it that before. That's what you called it in Ohana, wasn't it?
I don't think I invented it though.
Did you not?
No, I think I got that off Twitter somewhere. Did you think I invented that?
Oh, I'm slightly less.
You're disappointed.
I thought you'd been quite clever.
No, I definitely picked that up from somewhere.
Oh, I'm a bit disappointed in you now. I thought that was.
I did not invent.
I thought that was a you thing.
George is like, it's everywhere on Twitter.
Is it, George? He let me believe that was him.
I didn't say I invented it. I just said it on Ohana on Thursday, and you were like, "Oh, that's clever of you," and I went,
"Yeah, but you didn't put me right."
Yeah, I didn't say no.
You didn't say.
I didn't say no.
No, Twitter's calling it that. You just allowed me to give you some praise and think you were funny.
Yeah, clearly not. Been married long enough now to know that's not the case.
No.
So Bournemouth still on radar, despite only just squeaking a win there. And you're right, the red ball must have kicked in late on for Leicester because 2-0 they were down, and then
Second
Jamie
time in a
Vardy
row.
pulls
Brighton.
a goal and an assist out the bag. Absolutely ridiculous. Brighton, João Pedro, nothing for him again. Starting to get the hump with him already.
Why? What are you getting the hump with him for? He costs nothing, Lee.
When I got him in on the back of, so he come back from his injury. He got the goal against, was it Chelsea or something? I can't remember. Or was it even Man City? And he was like, I'm back. And then he followed that with another good performance after that. And I knee-jerked him in because he was going up and Jimenez was going down that night. It was like a Saturday, I think. And I knee-jerked him in.
Yeah.
And then throughout the week, I listening to all the decent FPL managers on Twitter and other podcasts that went, well, don't knee-jerk him in because actually the stats don't look that great. And he is overperforming his XG and blah, blah, blah. So I think I've been done by the vibes.
We got you an assist last week.
Yes, I want more than that. I know he's cheap. But
He's
I want more.
cheap.
Yeah, but
he's basically your fifth.
I think I've been done by João Pedro vibes. I think I've been done.
Right, can we just be realistic about this, Lee? You're going to bring in Enzo Fernandez this week as your fifth midfielder, right?
Probs.
Almost certainly.
Probs.
That means you have to bench one of your forwards every week because you're going to be playing all five. What?
Or Rodgers.
Who?
Bench Rodgers.
Oh, you're not going Rodgers too. Oh no, you're getting rid of bombs, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe have one more last dance with him, brother.
Oh my God, please stop dancing.
Not doing it, George. I'm standing him. Sorry, mate.
My point was going to be that you've always got to bench somebody. So why are you I think having a cheap option is really valuable because you don't have to play João Pedro every week, do you?
No.
Just bench him. He's just your bench option.
The fixtures are good. But anyway, they collapsed.
I think you've been a bit unkind to João Pedro there. I don't think he deserved that.
All right. Sorry, João Pedro. I do apologise.
We've got to apologise to him and Iwobi now.
All right. Let's talk about our teams then, Sam, for the week. Before we do that, a quick shout out to our friends at PickEm. So where's my promo slide? There it is. Our friends at PickEm. So no winners yet because obviously we've got one more game to go tomorrow night. West Ham versus Wolves. So I think it's about 2 or 3 people that are currently on 6 correctly predicted outcomes so far. What did you get? You're anywhere near 6? I got 4.
A
bit average this week.
But the results this week were a bit
difficult. Yeah, it was a difficult week. It was a difficult week to predict.
I'm surprised if I've even got 4. Let's have a look.
What I will say though, Sam, is I think we're on for another win in Sleeper Draft of Legends.
Can I just say something about this? So I got 3 so far, by the way.
3, okay.
Utterly dross. I correctly predicted less. In fact, I can. What did I actually get right? Leicester and Brighton. I predicted a draw. Aston Villa.
Well, you got that.
Aston Villa. I got right.
Yeah, go on then. Draft of Legends.
Terrible. So, we're playing the Wire Boys this week.
Yeah.
All week we've been predicted to lose. All week.
Which is pretty common.
Honestly, all week. Whatever we've done with our team, we've not been able to make it work, have we? We've not been able to get our light to go green. It's been constantly red all week.
I would say it's been an uphill struggle. Yes.
So this week, as Lee mentioned earlier, we drove to Osterley to do Sky. We came back, grabbed our kids, drove to the O2. I did a lot of driving yesterday. So we are in the car, driving to the O2.
We did some mad shit on Draft of Legends this year. Oh, there goes the monetization. Sorry.
So we're driving to the O2 and I go to Lee, team sheets is like 2:00.
Yeah.
Team sheets are out for the 3:00.
Who's out there?
Can you go in there and try and do some stuff? Do some stuff with our team. And he's like, what am I doing? So, because it's normally me that does the stuff, isn't it? It's normally me that goes rogue with the last minute transfers, but I'm driving, so Lee's doing it. Lee's just like, shall I get this one? I'm like, yes. If they're starting, just get them. It will be fine.
This is how we play Draft the Legends, right?
Because
It's when the team sheets come out, we're like, right, who's playing that we can get, who's like out there.
But that is exactly how you have to play the
think
draft
it is.
game.
Yeah, very
because
reactive on the day.
We had 10th pick, so we are already at a disadvantage overall.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing any trading because everyone's like, that's my key player and I'm not selling him.
Yeah.
So no one wants to get rid. Our key players have been flipping injured for ages or have their game postponed. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I'm looking at you. Alisson, what the hell are you doing? Get back in our team. So
saying that, our premier pick was Sonny.
So today,
go on.
I'm looking at our team. We're like 18% chance of a win.
It's not looking good.
I'm like,
it's red.
They've got Saka. They've got
the Wire had a good team.
Some Chelsea player as well.
Sancho, innit?
No. We sold Sancho. You dropped him.
I sold Sancho. Yeah.
And we dropped Nathan Collins as part of your rogue moves, and he scored.
We didn't drop Nathan Collins.
You did in our rogue transfers in the car. Yes, Lee. Remember?
I'm as good at this as I am as FPL.
Anyway.
Rubbish.
So today, I'm looking at our sleeper team, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be another loss. We lost to Gianni in midweek just because Son couldn't finish that goal. If Son had scored in midweek, you know that opportunity he had that was ruled offside?
Yeah.
We'd have beat Gianni in midweek as well.
Oh.
And I was raging. And Gianni was messaging me about it. It's like, oh, it's only going to take one Brennan or Son goal. I was like, shut up, Gianni. This is enough pressure on my team as it is. I don't want you talking to me about sleeper. Anyway, today, I thought...
It does. The one thing I will say about Draft the Legends, sorry to interrupt you, it does get, like... There is a WhatsApp group for all of us content creators that are in Draft the Legends, and there's some, you know, I wouldn't say it's banter.
And there's DMs in the group,
there's some good chat that goes in there. But we're on the week when we know we're playing, like, we'll give Gianni a bit and he'll give a bit back, or we'll be like, we'll be on Az and Az will give a bit back. It's quite good fun, actually.
He messaged me as Spurs were making subs against Bournemouth in midweek and goes, I hope it's Brennan coming off. I'm like, shut up, Gianni. And then he's like, he's only going to take one goal for one of them and you're going to beat me. I'm like, I know that. Anyway, today... I'm looking at it. We get through the first round of fixtures and it's just the Spurs game left. And I'm looking at my team and I'm like, if Son or Brennan scores here,
we'd be all right.
We might be all right. Because we've still got, get this, Lee, we've still got some West Ham players tomorrow. Because,
who have we got?
Well,
West Ham.
Son and Brennan score. So they've put us in charge. They put us in charge, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at our team. So for tomorrow, the Wire Boys have got Kudus. So we've got hope he stays quiet.
Kudus, okay, yeah.
Go on. Because you dropped Nathan Collins for him.
Oh, I put Wan-Bissaka in.
We're about to get in a biscuit tin, guys.
Come on, the biscuits.
So Wan-Bissaka better score now because we've sold Nathan Collins who scored a goal for him. In fact, we're doubled up on the bloody West Ham defence because we've got Fabianski in goal. Because,
double West Ham defence.
Because, Lee, we don't...
How are we here?
I'll tell you how we're here. Because we've got Alisson as our goalkeeper and he got injured. So we haven't been able to play him. So I've had to be going rogue every week, picking the best available goalkeeper with a fixture.
Double West Ham defence.
So last week in midweek we had Pickford. Actually went quite well because he kept a clean sheet. This week I'm like, I can't have Pickford in the derby, and then the derby gets called off. So I'm looking at the list and I'm like, the best option available is to go for Fabianski. So in he comes. Suddenly we get to the O2 and we've got the biscuit tin as well. So now we're doubled up. So now
double West Ham defence.
We have the lead, and it's a bit of a lead.
Okay. What's the predictor saying?
We're on 85%.
Oh, come on.
But
unless Kudus goes mad. If Kudus goes mad, we're in trouble.
Which he might against that Wolves defence.
He might.
So Wire Boys, this has been a great battle this weekend because it really has been about who you can bring in, because they've been doing the same thing as us. They've been going rogue with their transfers. Like they brought Thiago in for the Brentford game when they saw he was starting.
Yeah,
it's been fun. I'm enjoying playing the Wire Boys.
It's good.
We always have a good battle in its our weeks.
It's good. I do like it. And unlike FPL, when the deadline is usually before the team sheets come out, right? Always before the team sheets come out. With Sleeper, as soon as the team sheet comes out, that's when you jump into action.
Oh, it's when the group chat goes mental. Like
that's
the app
when it
goes
starts
mad.
kicking off. It's
Everyone's
great.
like trying to get who they can get. Salah's particularly good at it. FPL Salah. He's straight away. As soon as he sees a team sheet, he's like, who can I get?
Oh, he's on it.
He is a pro at it. You've got to
Yeah.
be really fast to beat Abdul.
You know when FPL deadline passes and you see the team sheets and your player's not on it, and you're like, ooh, like that. With Sleeper, it's like, right.
You haven't got time to go, you've got to go straight in there.
Get on it. Get
Straight
Buonanotte in, as we've done for the last few weeks.
Or he'd be back for next week because he was suspended. He couldn't play this week because he was ineligible to play his parent club. But next week, Buonanotte, the legend's back in.
Easy for you to say. All right, well, there we go. Get on to @SleeperFooty on Twitter and X and all that sort of nonsense. Go to the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store on your Apple device.
Preferably use our link, though.
Sleeper. Oh yeah, sorry, I should say that, shouldn't I? Yeah, don't go straight to the app. Don't go to the app store. Go to the link in our description and click that, and then that will take you to the app store. But we'll get a tick in the box from Sleeper to say, yeah, Lee and Sam told me.
They'll say, well done, Lee and Sam.
Yeah, I've done that completely wrong, haven't I? Yeah. How does affiliate marketing work again? I've only been doing this 8 years. Can you give me
follow our link? It's all free. They'll just say, well done, Lee and Sam, and we'll get a bit of praise, which will be quite nice.
Thank you. Yeah. You better do the Sleeper promos from now on. I've got that completely wrong. Right, let's talk about and thank you to our friends at Sleeper. It's been a pleasure working with you so far this season. We are thoroughly enjoying it.
We actually do really like the game as well.
We're enjoying PickEm and we're enjoying the Draft of Legends, particularly when we're on a little bit of a winning streak. We love it. All right, let's talk about our team, Sam. Here is my team for this week. 47 points, a small red. Don't like it very much,
not finished,
but it is what it is.
2 to come.
8 Nori and Cunha still to play. What a mad week. Mad week, right? So first of all, I'll talk you through my weekend. So Salah's game gets called off, and I was going to captain Mo, right?
Yeah, I think we all were, yeah.
So I'm going to captain Mo. So then, his game gets called off, and we're at Sky. And I'm like, right, who do I go for? Do I go with the crowd and go Palmer? Or do I fancy Watkins against Southampton? And clearly, as you guys can see on the screen, for the podcasters, I fancied Watkins against Southampton. Yeah. Now, the last couple of weeks, and this will be this was the third week in a row I'd captained against Southampton.
Yeah, you do love a
Mo
captain
triple
against
captain,
him, yeah.
Palmer captain against Southampton, and now Ollie Watkins against Southampton. And actually, I thought, I fancied him. I thought, again, they'll be making mistakes, which they were, Southampton, and it was difficult weather-wise that day. So I was just thinking, and all week actually, I've been thinking Salah Watkins. Oh yeah, Palmer's there as well, but Salah Watkins. So I don't. Obviously, I regret the decision, but I don't think I'd have made it any other way. When I was at Sky and thinking, okay, well, it can't be Mo now. Who? I wouldn't say I sat there and went, oh, Palmer, Watkins, and really did rate it. I went, oh, I'm going to go Watkins. I'm going to go Watkins.
I kind of felt like when we did Ohana together that you wanted to go for Watkins, but you were obviously going for Salah because it would be mad not to.
Yeah. I did fancy Watkins. So, of course, the Villa team sheets comes out and he's not on it. And I'm like, that's a joke. And then, of course, I'm sitting there hoping that he doesn't come on because I know that I've got Palmer Vice and he comes on 1 point cameo. In actual fact, when he come on, he should have had points.
Yeah,
he should have had points because there was one where he clearly should have passed it across to, can't remember, but should have scored. And there was one where he had almost like a one-on-one with the keeper and fluffed his line. So Watkins could have and maybe should have had points. But nevertheless, that decision is the difference between me having this small red and a really nice green this week. A really nice green. So that is just a 50-50. I shouldn't call it a 50-50 because I was probably 70-30 more in Watkins, probably even 80-20 going for Watkins this week. So it is, as they say, what it is. But nevertheless, I had Palmer and I thought, well, as long as he doesn't go mad, I've got him in my team. So I'll hedge against it a little bit. But as it happens, he has gone mad because he's got the 2 pens. It's a bit lucky, in my opinion. But again, whatever. So that was the
highs and
that
lows.
Nonsense, right? With all of that, then get to Saturday night, and you go for.
Well, no, you've got Rico Lewis getting sent off, Flecken doing his Flecken business.
Well,
the last dance with Mbeumo, so that was all quite fun.
Just about to talk about that, but so yeah,
that wasn't Saturday night.
All that stuff.
Was Saturday afternoon.
Okay, Saturday afternoon then. Yeah, just felt like night because it was dark, wasn't it, at the time? But anyway, and Mbeumo coming in for the last dance. Yeah, awesome, loved that.
That was great.
Flecken with the assist, still just gets a 3, so whatever.
Has he only got 3?
Yeah, he's only got 3. Rubbish. Did concede 2 goals.
Oh, yeah.
Rico Lewis, just... Oh, mate, seriously. Like, honestly.
Deserved
Rico,
red.
mate. If you'd have just got the goal and not got sent off, that'd have been so much better. But now you got to go. And then elsewhere, yeah, just a sea of 2s. So I knew I was on a small green at the end of Saturday, mainly because of Mbeumo. But I knew today was going to be bad. I knew it was going to be bad because I knew Saka was going to play. And I knew that you and others had captained him. As soon as Gabriel wasn't on the team sheet, I was like, if Arsenal clean, I'm in big trouble. So neither of those things actually hurt me in the end. So at the end of the Arsenal game, I was like, bullet dodged, right, from an Arsenal. Particularly when that Saka goal goes in at the end, I'm like, oh, and then obviously it's offside. But it's Palmer, really. It's Palmer. That's the difference, right? If I'd have captained him over Watkins, I'm laughing, and but as it is, I'm 17 points worse off. But Cunha and Aït-Nouri still to go.
But we don't want them to do anything in
It still could be
sleeper.
all right. It still could be all right. So I'm down about 17%, 618k. It's not where I want to be, but I still want to try and get inside that top 250k before the turn of the year. It's looking a bit unlikely. Had I captained Palmer this week, it'd have been on, I think. But the game is starting to get stretched. We said this last Sunday, and you disagreed. But I had a look at some of the stats on Live FPL. It is starting to get stretched. It is making... it is... It's starting to... It's now making it... It's getting more and more difficult. Because it's also getting more difficult to slide. Notice, right? So you have a bad-ish week like this, minus 17% on 47 points. And it's okay. I'm down about 100k, so it's not criminally bad, but it's not great. So I think it is getting harder now to move up and down the ranks more than sort of 4 or 5 weeks ago. But anyway, 47. We move on. 49 for you, so not that much better, but a bit better.
Yeah. Look, the Arsenal Saka thing.
Yeah, the Saka goal at the end there would have made a massive difference, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because I'd captained him, and I was always going to captain Saka. The Liverpool thing actually made no difference to me because Saka was always going to be my captain. I decided to have some fun and leave Salah on the pitch, so I get the nice Dom Solanke auto sub, which was quite fun.
There's a word for that. Won't use it.
It's just fun. What's wrong with that? It's just fun, isn't it? Like, just fun. It always feels
It's not what
better.
they call it on Twitter, I can tell you.
Well, I think it's fun. I don't care what they call it on Twitter. I don't like Twitter. I don't go on it. So I'm out having fun. Bruno Fernandes doing business. I was happy with him.
Still Aït-Nouri to go, we should say.
Yeah. Guaranteed 0 points. But yeah, look.
Kudos brace to knock us out of Draft Legend.
Oh, please don't let that happen. So yeah, what? I'm like 870, so it's a little it's a little red.
884 was live FPL ad you at. So yeah, small red, 8% down.
With the subs off the bench, I'll be at 874. So a little red. But I think it was down like 6%. So it would be very... A Saka goal goes in. It's very different.
Different story, yeah.
It is what it is. So we'll just see how tomorrow pans out. I don't feel a type of way about this week though, because this weekend was just weird. It was a weird weekend, and
you notice you had your vice on Rodgers.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I put it there.
Home to Southampton, yeah. Okay, don't mind it, but not Palmer. You were properly against Palmer.
It wasn't that I was against Palmer, but you're not seriously going to captain... Like, would you captain someone against Liverpool?
If I thought it was right for FPL, I would, yeah. It's just that we haven't had to do that for so many seasons because we're so good. Anyway, 49 points, 898 overall, minus 8%. So yeah, a bit of a bad week for us here at FPL Family. But just in your case, a Martinelli going a fraction too early.
I hate Martinelli.
And in my case, a 60-40 on the captaincy is all that stood between us and decent game weeks. It's the Palmer's been such a swinger.
It was all right until Palmer scored the second penalty.
Yeah, it was. Which is why I was so, in case you didn't notice when we were watching that game, I was so frustrated when Sarr decided to just hack him down. I was like, what are you doing, mate? Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, we go again. We've both got Aït-Nouri to play. We've got Cunha to play. Thoughts on next week? Early thoughts for game week 16? What are you thinking?
What, transfers?
Transfers, yes.
Well, there's so much to do between now and then because obviously we've got European football. So mostly I'm kind of thinking about doubling up on Chelsea. That's probably the way that I'm going to go.
Right.
The question
Can I talk about mine then? Because I know exactly what I'm doing.
But no, you asked me a question. Let me answer it. So the question is, how do I do that? Because actually, I like my team for next week, and like at the moment, I'm already kind of like, so my attacking 8. I've got Palmer at home to Brentford. Well, clearly he's not getting benched. I've got Saka at home to Everton. Clearly he's not getting benched.
Yes.
Bruno I'm not benching even though he's away at Man City because Man City. Rodgers is probably getting on the bench because it's Forest away. Salah's got Fulham. Evan Nilsson's at home to West Ham.
Yeah.
João Pedro's got Crystal Palace at home. And Solanke's got Southampton. So where am I fitting another Chelsea attacker in?
You're not, are you? Don't need to.
It is quite hard.
Don't need to.
And even defensively, like, Aït-Nouri's got Ipswich at home. Surely Aït-Nouri's getting something. Hall's got Leicester at home.
Aït-Nouri's not getting anything.
I know. But I would probably play Hall anyway against Leicester.
I would, yeah.
Timber's got Everton at home. I've got Dallo at Man City. Like, I am... What am I doing?
Just roll it then. Don't have to do something.
Oh, yeah, but it's so boring.
I don't know if you heard, you can roll it up to 5 times this season.
I know, but don't you just like...
That's a good team. You don't need to do anything with it.
But aren't you just bored when you roll?
No, I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks, and now I get the excitement of free transfers.
Yeah, maybe.
So you've got a great looking team for next week, so no problem. My team is also in reasonable shape because it's sort of conforming to the joint template that we both have. But my defence is a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. So I do want to change that. Sorry, George, but I am going to be selling Mbeumo to Enzo Fernandez this week. I'm just gonna probably, unless there's a Enzo Fernandez price rise coming up in the next couple of days, and I haven't looked at fix or statistics or anything yet, or live FPL.
I'll tell you.
By the way,
live FPL price changer is amazing. By the way,
the price changes on live FPL, Ragabolly is doing an absolutely stunning job over there at the moment. If that website and that tool wasn't good enough already, he's now he's now cracked the bloody price change algorithm. This guy's just a build him. Where do you want your statue, Ragabolly?
Do you want to know something really exciting?
Go for it.
It's going to be in the Scout app soon, that price change predictor.
Let's go.
So if you haven't got Scout membership, get one and get it in the app.
If you need any more reason to go and get the Fantasy Football Scout app, there it is. There it is. You're going to have Ragabolly's never wrong price prediction algorithm thing in the app. Absolutely brilliant.
Isak, Saliba, Cunha, Strand, Larson tonight.
Up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so not Enzo.
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you where Enzo is.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll have a look after the stream. But it doesn't seem as if there's a big reason for me to go up.
You don't need to go today.
He will rise fast, though. He'll rise fast. So Mbeumo to Enzo is what I'm considering. And with all that newfound money, because I've just over a smidgen over $1 million in the bank anyway.
Right.
There is going to be some serious defensive upgrades. Lewis is going to go.
Yeah.
I think. And he's going to go for Trent. I'm going to get Trent in. Because I love Trent and I'm going to. And then I am going to get another Arsenal defender in. I just haven't decided yet whether Ait-Nouri or Lewis Hall. If Ait-Nouri gets his 5th booking and he gets suspended, I might just lose the will to live with him and sell him for Timber and stick with Flecken. Or I do Flecken to Raya.
So either way, you're basically copying my team.
Well, you've just sat there, read out your team, and we've both gone, that's a good team for next week. So, yes, I am. Because I'd like to get towards your team for next week, yes.
I do like my team.
Yeah, so do I.
Do you feel like I've been a bit unlucky this week with the points?
But this is as a broader topic. I said this a couple of weeks ago. The template is starting to form. And we're both moving towards it, right? The 3 in midfield, the 2 round the edges, although I think Rodgers is still quite popular. João Pedro, Cunha, and then a premium.
I don't have
either.
Cunha.
Okay, I'm just saying the general template. And then it's going to be Isak, Watkins, or Jackson. And I think Watkins is going to slowly fade off of that over the next few weeks because of the fixtures. So it's going to be Isak or Jackson is going to be an important thing. And if I go for Enzo, one of the things I could do is Watkins to Isak for a hit as well. So I might do 4 transfers.
For a hit?
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe. Because Isak's fixture, what has he got? Leicester at home. Too good to miss.
Jamie Vardy having a party.
No chance. They will beat him. And they're giving up too many shots, Leicester, and he's good at shooting. So I like Isak for next week a lot. So definitely 3 transfers, maybe 4 next week. And it all, the genesis of it is Mbeumo to Enzo Fernandez.
Bye, Brian.
And then I'm all... Yeah, thank you, Brian. You have been a good servant. Many others ditched you in recent weeks. We had one last dance, and it was glorious.
Okay.
We had one last dance, Brian, and it was a 13-pointer, and I liked it. Should have been more if it wasn't for bloody Dan Burn. Anyway, there it is. That is transfer thoughts for Game Week 16. What is coming up this week, Sam?
I'm going to try and get rid of my cough.
I hope so. Yes, that would be nice.
Because it is driving me slightly mad. I am doing obviously the official pod will be out this week again. That'll be out on Thursday this week. I'm also doing the fantasy show on Friday morning, so you can catch me on that.
Busy bee this week.
So I'm going to have a bit of a busy week this week. And apparently doing nothing with my team. On the Q&A. The Q&A I'll be back as well.
Why is that a bad thing? Your team's great. Roll the transfer. 2 free transfers next week. What? I don't understand this being bored thing.
I just get itchy feet with it. I'm like, I want to do something.
Whoever you take out, well,
I know.
like, you get rid of Dallo, that'll be the week he pops up.
Well, he's gone on a bench. I've just put him on the bench.
It's a bench. In a week where you've had to bench Dallo, your team must be in reasonable shape.
Well, we might find out that Nori can't play tomorrow, like after
Well, it's
tomorrow.
possible. Yeah, it's
but
possible.
I mean, I can't bench Lewis Hall at home to Leicester,
You can't.
Nori at home to Ipswich, or Timber at home to Everton. Can I?
You ain't benching Timber. Absolutely not.
So
Lewis
unfortunately,
Hall,
Dallo's
maybe
got.
you can. Maybe.
He's at home.
Yeah, but maybe.
And he's
you
on
can.
corners. I can't really bench him.
Yeah.
So and Dallo has got to go in the
Let me
derby.
see, can I have a look at this team then?
Yeah, have a look.
Rogers, Dallo, and Van der Berg on the bench. I'm just bench boostable.
Shut up. You're such an idiot, honestly. Van der Berg didn't even play this weekend.
No, never mind. Right, there we go, folks. That is it.
Winded me
Bang on an hour and a half. Thank you for joining us tonight on FPL Family. Leave us a like before you go. Hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. Well done in game week 15, particularly you Palmer captainers. Good luck to those that have got Cunha or Strand Larsen. Oh, God, please get rid of this cough. Are you done?
No, I don't think so. Finish it up.
I'm going to mute your mic. There we go. You're muted. Good luck to anyone that's got Cunha or... Oh, Christ.
So sorry.
Cunha or Strand Larsen or indeed Nori. Stop talking. Let me finish. And then once I've hit end stream, you can cough as much as you want.
0-0. El Sakako 0-0.
Good luck if you've got players in West Ham versus Wolves tomorrow night. And we'll see you this time next week for a look back at all of Game Week 16's action. Hopefully with a more healthy wife next to me. Leave us a like, hit subscribe. We'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.